I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait.
Hi and welcome back to the Rideshare Buddy UK YouTube channel. My name's Kevin and today I'm finally getting around to doing this video on pricing up the EV. So I had my 24-hour test drive and I went for the ZS, the MG ZS. Fantastic car, really loved the tech, really loved the drive, really felt spacious with the full roof, full sunroof over the top. Driving wise, it was great. A little bit wider than the Toyota Prius, so not quite as good at getting down some of these narrow lanes that we have, or narrow side streets up Newport on an evening when there's double parked cars. Quite a bit of a squeeze, but I could do it. The turning circle was a little bit harder at these dead ends, but like we have a lot of, so but I could do it in about 6 or 7 turns, turn around, and not too bad because it is a compact EV SUV. If it was a full-size SUV, I'd have real difficulties getting down some of these side roads, and it would be really hard to turn around. I'd be doing a lot of reversing back out of these roads. But it's only slightly bigger, the ZS is only slightly wider than the Toyota Prius, so certainly doable. The MG5 would have been a lot better because it's about the same width, so it would have been a lot easier on the night time getting down these side roads, which you need to think about as a taxi driver. You are getting down some very tight, narrow roads, and having some of these big Mercedes that some private island rideshare drivers have. I've seen them, they've not been able to get down some of these side roads. And one is real comfortable for passengers because they've got the wide seats at the back. They have to walk up the road to get into the car. So it's half a dozen of the other, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. I prefer a narrower car so I can squeeze down and do reversing. And the MG ZS is not too bad being a compact SUV. But really, it's all down to facts and figures as to whether you can do it or not. So let's take a look at the figures, what I'm currently paying and the profits I'm currently making in the Toyota Prius, which is a hybrid, and compare that to what would happen if I went for the MG ZS and how much of an impact that will happen. So let's have a look at the spreadsheets and let's see what happens. Okay, so this is my spreadsheet for what I do normally. This is based on a 4-week month, and these are my averages for a 4-week month. So I normally take £3,580. My car rent, which is a Toyota Prius, is £796, £199 a week. Petrol I normally spend about £420 a month on. Cleaning is £12 and my mobile phone plan is £22. Give me total monthly costs on a 4-week month of £1,250. Give my profit of £2,330 pre-tax. Now, I normally average about 132 hours in a 4-week month, which is about 36 hours a week. That's a little high. I am planning on bringing it down, but I've obviously just moved house and I've got furniture, carpets and everything else to purchase. So I've been doing a little bit of extra work, about 36 hours a week, so it's 132 hours on a full week. That gives me a earnings of £17.65. Let's just move that over there, 17.65. So I've got a record of it because this figure is going to change shortly. And that is online time. That's from when I turn the app on to when I turn the app off. So that's my full shift. I average about £17.65 an hour. Now that's because I have a target of £15 an hour, and then of course I need to have extra to put set aside to pay for my to get holiday pay and also for sickness pay. But £17.65 an hour after expenses is my usual sort of hourly rate when I'm out working. So we need to see how that changes if I go for electric. So let's take a look at that. Right, so I can get an MG ZS from Reflex on a buy to rent basis for £235 a week. So that's £36 a week more than the car rent. Now that will include insurance, and insurance, especially on an EV, is so expensive. So it's well worth going for the 5 year plan over the MG for 235 for the insurance. So what is it, £36 a week more? So times that out by 4, 144. So I need to do extra rent, 144, extra rent, 144 a month. Now the car rent includes breakdown cover, which nothing does. So I need to buy breakdown cover. So let's have a look at what that's going to cost me with the RAC. So RAC cover for a taxi, including home and relay and return and stuff like that, it's £185 a year. So that's about £16 a month. Now I've also got to pay for vehicle licensing. When I'm renting, it's all included. So vehicle licensing, 2 MOTs a year. So it works out at about £15 a month. Now, my car rent includes sort of repairs, tyres, brakes, windscreen wipers, maintenance, servicing, and everything like that, which buy to rent doesn't. So I need to make allowances for that. Now, as long as when I go back for part time and I keep my mileage under 30,000 a year, I can get a maintenance plan for the MGZS for £96 a month. Now that includes new tyres, servicing, windscreen wipers, all the non-warranty items and stuff like that. Pay it monthly and it's all covered and it's £96 a month. So that's pretty much, I think that's pretty much the car covered. And now we need to look at fuel, but already you can see we've gone from £17.65 an hour after expenses, and I'm now down to £15.59, and we need to look at how much extra fuel I'm going to use going over to the EV. Right, so to do that, we'll come over to the Nathaniel cars and we'll look at the MGZS. Now, I'm going to work on the basis of working 5 days a week. My average is about 150 miles on a daily shift, and I do mixed motoring. I'll turn off the weekend because I don't want to include my private mileage. I'm currently getting fuel at 142 a litre, and the Toyota Prius is doing 72 miles to the gallon. Now, the cheapest electricity I can do at public charging, because I don't have home charging, and I'm not going to sit out at a 3 kilowatt top up in a car park. I need to go for a fast charge to make it worthwhile. Cheapest is if I take out a Tesla membership, and I can get it then at off-peak rates at 37p per kilowatt hour. So, estimated reduction in fuel costs, well, there's no reduction because that's a negative, which means it costs me more. If it was a reduction, that would be a positive number. So it's costing me an extra £650 a year in fuel. So let's see what that works out at a month. 650 divided by 12 equals £54 a month extra in fuel. So let's move that over to our fuel extra. £54 a month. Now to get that, I need a Tesla subscription, which is £11 a month, or £10.99. And then, of course, there's charge time, because what it is, my closest Tesla is a 20-minute drive away. I can't just pop down a local petrol station. I have to make an actual journey over to Tesla. And that's 20 minutes away, and it takes 40 minutes to get up to charge up to 80%. That's basically an hour it's going to take me to fill up the car. need to do that 3 times a week. So that's 3 hours a week and 12 hours a day, so 12 hours a month. So what we're looking at is 12 times 17.65, because I'll be working 12 hours less a month, and that's costing me that much profit. So that's 211. So lost earnings is 211. And I think that's pretty much it for my extra costs. So my earnings would have dropped down from £17.65 to £13.50. Now, in April, national minimum wage goes up to £11.46 an hour, and to include holiday pay and say 3 days sick pay, the average worker takes 6 days paid sick pay a year. I'm going to need to be earning £13.06 an hour to be on the equivalent of national minimum wage. As you can see, we are getting very, very close to that. It's cost me over £4 an hour by going over to the EV. Now, I don't mind going over to EV and investing money in equipment and stuff if I know I'm going to make more money. I expect some sort of a payback for making that money. Now, the problem is I don't trust Uber to maintain the rates that they're paying out at. The word is there's going to be cuts to driver pay. It looks that way. It's edging downwards with AI coming involved. Dynamic pricing is going to squeeze drivers. It's not going to increase it. So I don't have confidence in making that sort of investment into an EV to lose £4, over £4 an hour, and for Uber to possibly even cut back on that, because that is very, very close to national minimum wage levels. So I'm not really financially going to look at this as an option. The rental of a hybrid is a way forward. It's going to stay that way now, because I don't have confidence to make the long-term investment. Not with the way Uber keeps changing their rates, which is always bringing down driver pay. So it's not just that though. We've got to start looking at the practicalities, and that's what we're going to have a look at now, is the practicalities of running an MGZS, particularly regards airport transfers. Okay, so this is going over to fleet news for ranges of the ZS long range. In the city cold weather, these are cold weather using heating. Now, it's done in a wind tunnel on a rolling road, and it has a weight of a driver in. It does not include the weight of 4 passengers and associated luggage with going to the airport. But even so, let's just work this out. Highway, that's 70 miles an hour. It has a range of 160 miles. Now you compare that with the 273 miles that's promoted on all the websites, and that's a mix of all of the figures. It does really well in combined town driving where you get your regen braking, but highway, 70 miles an hour in cold weather, at 100% charge, with 1, possibly 2 people in the car, no luggage, you've got 160 miles of range. So let's just jot that down, 160 mile of range. Right, let's just move that down. 60 mile range. Now, I'm only going to be charging up to 80% in the public charger, at Tesla charger. So 160 times 80% is 128 miles. So 20% off. Yep, let's just check that, because that's even less than I thought it was going to be. 160 minus 32. Yeah, 128 miles. Real world. Real is 128 miles range. in the winter with the heater on at 80% charge. So how is that going to get me down to Heathrow? Let's just have a look at some figures and some examples, because if there's only one passenger plus me as a driver, we may get away with 120 miles. But if, say, I'm picking a family up who are heading off for winter sun in January with a bootload of luggage or going on a skiing holiday, I can easily lose another 10, maybe 15% off that, bringing me down to barely 100 miles um, real world range in the winter as a taxi. I'm not going to tell my passengers to put on their fur coats because I'm going to turn the heating off. I'm not going to turn the heating off. It's my work environment. I want to be comfortable in my work environment. Well, that's 128 miles. So let's have a quick look at a real world example. Okay, so let's have a look at a real world example of this. Let's say I'm up in Newport. I need to pick up a business person at a hotel somewhere in central Cardiff and take them down to Heathrow for their flight. We make it gentle and make it easy. It's just one business person with maybe an overnight bag or small suitcase. So not much in the way of weight. What we're looking at there is 152 miles for the journey. But I've only got 128 mile of range. So I'm not going to be able to make it. Forget about it being a family of four going on a winter sun holiday or skiing holiday in January with a boot full of luggage. In that case, I could be down to barely 100-mile range. It's not a feasible option, unfortunately. I would love to go with electric, I really would, but I can't make it pay. Even if I take a small cut in pay, I can't do the range. It's not possible. Not on 80% charge. Give me 128 mile highway driving in the winter, or even less than that if I got a carload of passengers and a bootload of luggage. Now, if I was going to say Gatwick or Stansted Airport, I have no problem saying, look, before we get to the M25, we'll pull off into the services. I'll top the car up with electric for 20 minutes. You can go for a toilet break or have a cup of coffee or grab a coffee or snack before we hit the M25, because it's a 3.5 hour journey. I can do that. I've done it in the past, and most people like to have that small break before you hit the M25, just to stretch your legs for 20 minutes. I'm quite thankful for that. But I can't do it on a 2 hour trip to Heathrow Airport. It's not viable. And I'm not going to tell my passengers to put their fur coats on because I'm turning the heating off. If it's raining, I've got my lights on, I've got my heater on, I've got my wipers on, 4 passengers and suitcases. You're barely going to hit 100 miles on an 80% charge. It's not feasible. Right, so there you go. That's all my working out on the MGZS. I really would love to have an EV, an electric car. And that MG EV drives really, really well, really comfortable. Some great tech in there, some great entertainment system, uh, really spacious, full panoramic roof, gives a lot of light, really good for the passengers. But if you can't get them there, what's the point of having it? And, I would love to do it, but the figures, they show it can't be done. And if I had the range, I'd have to take a big drop, £4 an hour drop in profit. It's a lot of money, especially with costs going up. So, as much as I'd love to, I'm sticking with a rental and I'm sticking with a hybrid. Um, it's a way forward, it really is. So that's it. What are your thoughts? Did I make any mistakes? Did I forget anything? Did I overestimate anything? Do you think I got that calculation wrong? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But until next time, safe driving and pull in that profit.